Picture this. You're out and about with your camera, snapping away at the world around you. But wait, what's that? A busy background that's distracting from your gorgeous subject? Fear not. With a few simple tricks up your sleeve, you'll be able to achieve that dreamy bokeh that makes your photos pop. And of course, in today's video, we'll be helping you understand how to get that nice, blurred background. So how are we going to achieve this? Number 1, set your camera to aperture priority mode, which is going to be A or AV, depending on which camera you're using. Number 2, open your aperture as wide as you can. And for those not aware, that's going to be the smallest possible f-stop number on your lens. Number 3, move your subject away from the background. Number 4, get close to your subject or use your lens to zoom in on your subject. And lastly, for number 5, of course, just snap your photo. Bokeh is a Japanese term for the aesthetic quality of the blurred areas in a photograph. It refers to the way the out-of-focus parts of an image appear, particularly their shape, size, and smoothness. Bokeh helps create a sense of depth and dimensionality in a photograph, drawing the viewer's attention to the subject. By blurring the background, foreground, and other parts of a scene, the photographer can isolate the subject and make it stand out more effectively. In addition to creating a sense of depth and isolating the subject, bokeh can add a sense of mood or emotion to a photograph. For example, a soft, dreamy bokeh can evoke a sense of romance or nostalgia, while a harsh, jagged bokeh can create a feeling of tension or chaos. Here's some of the essentials you'll need to get that dreamy background. First, ensure you have the right gear. First up, let's go ahead and talk about cameras. You're going to need a mirrorless or DSLR camera with a large sensor. If you don't have that, you should find a point-and-shoot camera that allows you to change the settings manually. In terms of lenses, you're going to want a lens with a wide aperture. And of course, your aperture setting is crucial to creating bokeh photographs. Different lenses offer different aperture settings, so look for one with at least an aperture of f2.8. The lower the f-stop, the more blur you'll achieve. Another way you can go about it is getting a telephoto lens. Now this lens will help your background seem closer with a more dramatic blur. Now how is it exactly to use aperture to blur your background? Well, now that we have the gear in check, you should know how to set your camera. The aperture creates background blur since the setting defines how wide or narrow the lens is. Low numbers mean a wider lens opening and high numbers equals smaller ones. We're striving for a wide aperture to get a blur since this gives us a shallow depth of field, since little of the image will be in focus. Whereas narrow apertures will make your photos more clear and defined. When photographing a portrait, you should play around with the aperture to get both eyes in focus while blurring the background. You'll need to get a little narrow to achieve this. One way to do this is by trying aperture priority mode, which I had mentioned earlier ago, unless you're comfortable staying in manual mode. Be sure to pay close attention to your shutter speed and don't let it get too low. However, on the flip side, if you're taking a group shot and you want the background blurred, slowly increase the aperture to get more people in focus. Depending on how much your subject takes up the frame of the photograph, you should start low and work up to get a pretty blur. How to use subject placement to blur backgrounds. Camera settings will get you that gorgeous blurred background, but remember the placement of your subject. Be sure to keep your background at a far distance from your subject. If your subject is standing directly in front of a wall of flowers, it might be hard to get those flowers blurred. Have your subject step forward a few feet away to achieve that dreamy and soft bokeh look. Here are some bonus tips to get better blurred backgrounds. Camera equipment, aperture, and subject placement will easily get you a blurred background. However, you should try adding light elements to capture that dreamy bokeh essence. There are many fun and creative ways to introduce light into bokeh photography. Christmas lights. String up some colorful Christmas lights in the background of your photo and use a wide aperture to create beautiful, glowing bokeh circles. City lights. Take advantage of the bright lights of a city skyline at night to create dramatic and vibrant bokeh effect. Sparklers. Have a friend wave a sparkler in the background of your photo while you use a slow shutter speed and a wide aperture to capture the light trails. Candles. Use a candle or multiple candles in the background of your photo to create a soft and warm bokeh effect. Street lamps. Use street lamps' bright, warm light to create a unique and moody bokeh effect. Fairy lights. Fairy lights can create a magical and dreamy bokeh effect, especially when combined with a wide aperture. Fireworks. Capture the colorful bursts of fireworks in the background of your photo to create a festive and celebratory bokeh effect. By experimenting with different light sources and settings, you can create a wide range of bokeh effects that add depth, interest, and visual appeal to your photographs. You are now armed with the know-how to create stunning photographs with a blurred background. Whether you're capturing the beauty of nature, the energy of a city, or the magic of a special moment, the right bokeh effect can take your photos to the next level. Hopefully this video gave you some insight on how to achieve that dreamy, stylistic look. If it did, be sure to give this vid a like, and of course subscribe to the channel as well for any future tips and tricks to step up your photo, video, and audio game that much more. This is Raph from B&C Camera, and I'll catch you in the next video. See ya.